Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something fascinating. We've got sources, like one from Listverse, about 10 millionaires who disappeared. We're looking at these really intriguing cases of millionaires who just vanished. You know, it's always tragic when someone goes missing. But when there's huge wealth involved, it just adds so many layers, complications, mystery.
Oh, absolutely. Millions, sometimes hundreds of millions. It throws open the door to all sorts of motives, doesn't it?
Right.
I mean, are they trying to escape debt? Is it a targeted kidnapping for ransom? Or maybe something even darker, like someone wanting them out of the picture. So our mission today really is to sift through these real-life mysteries, pull out the key details, understand the unique situations, and see what patterns pop up when big fortunes are involved.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack this and get into some of these really baffling cases. Millionaires who just gone. Maybe we should start with one that had, well, a resolution, but a really shocking one. Kevin McGeever, the Irish property tycoon.
Ah, yes. McGeever.
Yeah.
Missing for 8 months, then found wandering on a road.
Right. Emaciated and confused, claiming abduction at gunpoint, being held in a shipping container. Sounds like a movie plot.
It really does. But what's interesting is how fast that story crumbled under police questioning.
Oh.
Yeah, it turned out he'd basically staged the whole thing, his own kidnapping.
No way. Why?
Well, immense financial pressure, his business had tanked, and there were suspicions about property fraud, I think, in Dubai and Germany.
Oh, okay.
So his thinking, apparently, was that if he looked like a victim, his former clients, people he owed money to, might back off, not want to look like they were involved if he was kidnapped.
Wow. That's elaborate.
It is. He ended up getting arrested for wasting police time. It really shows how wealth became this kind of trap for him, something he felt he needed this extreme story to escape.
So he faked it to escape money troubles. Then you have cases where the end is just horrifyingly real, like Herman Rockefeller, the Australian businessman.
Oh, that's a stark contrast, yeah. Rockefeller vanished in 2010.
Car found abandoned, accounts untouched. Then, just 8 days later, his body.
Yeah, burned and dismembered. Found in someone's backyard filled with garbage. Truly grim.
It makes you ask, how does a seemingly ordinary, successful businessman end up like that?
Well, the investigation uncovered quite a shocking double life. Rockefeller, who was married, was apparently using erotic personal ads to meet strangers.
Really?
And he was murdered by a couple, Mario Schembri and Bernadette Denny, after arranging a sexual encounter at Denny's home.
Good grief. Was the motive ever clear? Like, why the murder?
You know, that's the chilling part. Their exact motive for killing him wasn't really established. It just happened. It's a terrible illustration that money offers zero protection from, well, dangerous choices or the darker side of human behavior.
That's a really sobering point. Wealth can't shield you from everything, certainly not yourself. Okay, so we've seen fake disappearances, double lives leading to tragedy. What about cases where a body is found, but the mystery just lingers? Like Camilla Lyman.
Ah, Cam Lyman. Yes, that's a deeply unsettling one. Born into wealth, bred champion Cocker Spaniels on this huge estate, worth over $2 million back then.
And had legally changed his name to Cam, living as a man, disappeared in 1987, aged 54.
Right. And initially, people thought, okay, maybe he finally went to Europe for that sex reassignment surgery he talked about.
Plausible, I guess.
But here's the really strange part. His caretaker, a guy named George O'Neill, never reported him missing. Never.
For how long?
10 years. It took 10 years for Cam's body to be found in the septic tank of his own home.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He'd been shot, weighed down with a cinder block. And O'Neill, the caretaker, he had power of attorney, was set to inherit.
So the finger points right at him, surely.
You'd think so. He was convicted only for embezzling from the estate. Never charged with a murder, even after the case was on Unsolved Mysteries.
This is still technically unsolved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The murder itself remains unsolved. It really shows how financial ties can muddy the waters in an investigation for decades.
That is just wild. 10 years in a septic tank. Okay, but not all these stories end with deception or suspected murder, right? Sometimes it's just the inherent risks of a life lived large. Like Steve Fawcett.
Ah, Steve Fawcett, yes. A classic example of wealth enabling incredible, but also incredibly risky adventures. Made his fortune in the stock market, but was famous for, well, breaking records.
How many was it? Something like 116 world record?
That's right. Flying, sailing, ballooning. First solo around the world in a hot air balloon and an airplane. Just extraordinary achievements.
Funded by his fortune, presumably.
Absolutely. And when he disappeared in 2007, flying solo over the Sierra Nevada mountains, The search effort was immense.
I remember that. It was huge news.
Became the largest, most complex search for one person in U.S. history. Just shows the resources that can be thrown at finding a missing millionaire.
But they didn't find him initially.
No, he was declared legally dead. Then, over a year later, 13 months actually, a hiker stumbled upon the plane wreckage.
Wow. And him.
DNA confirmed his remains were there. He died instantly, apparently. Flew straight into a mountainside. Just a tragic accident, the ultimate risk of his passion. 60 of his records still stand, though. Quite a legacy.
A powerful reminder that some risks are just final. Okay, from high-flying adventure to something that feels like it belongs in a gritty, true crime show. Don Lewis.
Oh, Don Lewis. Yeah, that case got a lot of attention later on, didn't it? Self-made millionaire, real estate, trucking.
Known for being pretty eccentric, right? Wearing yard sale clothes, but carrying wads of cash.
Exactly. And he and his wife, Carol, ran that big cat sanctuary. He vanished back in August 1997.
How did he disappear?
Well, his van turned up at a small airport.
Yeah.
Keys inside, engine cold. But no Don.
And the big cat connection definitely added a weird layer.
It did. But what really complicated things, what the sources highlight, is his relationship with Carol. Just 2 months before he disappeared, he'd filed for a domestic violence injunction against her.
He filed a restraining order against her. Claiming what?
Alleging she'd threatened to shoot him.
Okay, wow. So he vanishes just weeks later. That obviously puts her under intense scrutiny.
Intense is putting it mildly. His daughters from his first marriage were very vocal, openly suspecting Carol. They even pushed police to check the meat grinder at the sanctuary.
Seriously, the meat grinder. Good Lord.
Yeah, it got that specific and grim. It shows the level of suspicion when there's money, bad blood, and, well, large carnivores involved.
What did Carol say?
She denied everything, of course. Famously said, "My tigers eat meat, they don't eat people."
Oh.
She maintained he probably just took off to Costa Rica, where he owned property and apparently liked to visit.
So did he? Or...
Nobody knows. The mystery is still wide open. A perfect storm of eccentricity, money, marital strife, and suspicion.
And speaking of potentially just taking off, there's the case of Guma Aguirre, right? The oil and gas guy, young, only 35.
Right. Guma Aguirre disappeared in 2012. His boat, a fishing boat, washed ashore in Fort Lauderdale.
But it wasn't just drifting, was it?
No, that's the strange part. Engine still running, navigation lights on. And his wallet and cell phone were still on board.
That just feels deliberately abandoned, doesn't it? Like someone walked away mid-journey.
It does raise that question, absolutely. Why leave the boat like that? And Aguirre had a lot going on.
Like what?
Well, sources mention struggles with bipolar disorder, time in a mental hospital, ongoing legal issues. And he was apparently right on the verge of a messy divorce.
Ah, the divorce angle. Money involved.
Big money. He was worth around $100 million. And his wife, Jamie, was reportedly trying to find ways around their prenup, which she'd signed before he hit it really big.
Okay, so the stakes were massive.
Right.
That definitely fuels the idea he might have faked his disappearance, right?
Yeah.
To protect his fortune.
That was certainly one theory. Especially since his sister and his main business partner apparently moved to the Netherlands not long after he vanished.
That looks suspicious on the surface, but couldn't that just be coincidence? Or maybe they were just getting away from the whole situation. People move for lots of reasons.
That's entirely possible. It could be a red herring.
Yeah, and maybe these complex theories obscure a simpler, sadder reality, like an accidental drowning, especially given his known mental health struggles.
Exactly. The sources lay out these possibilities, which is why it remains so baffling. Was it a calculated escape fueled by wealth and marital problems, or something else entirely? His personal struggles add so many layers that money couldn't fix.
It really shows the human complexity behind the headlines. Okay, let's wrap up by going way back in time. One of Canada's oldest, most famous millionaire mysteries, Ambrose Small.
Ah, Ambrose Small, the Toronto theater mogul. Built quite an empire over 40 years.
And then in 1919, he sells it all for a huge sum, $1.7 million back then, deposits the check.
And the very next day, December 2nd, 1919, he walks out of his office and is never seen again, just vanishes. Leaves behind his wife, Teresa, and that massive fortune.
What kind of guy was he?
By all accounts, pretty ruthless. A known gambler, a womanizer, sharp in business, not necessarily someone with few enemies.
Did anyone try to ransom him?
That's another odd thing. His wife put up a $50,000 reward, an absolutely enormous amount of money then, but no ransom note ever appeared. Nobody was ever found.
Any leads at all? Sightings.
Oh, there were tons of unconfirmed sightings over the years. People claim they saw him everywhere from London to South America, but nothing ever panned out.
So what happened?
Officially,
He was declared legally dead in 1923. The police officially closed the case way later, in 1960. Just gone.
but there's a final twist, isn't there? Something about a ghost.
Right. That's the truly fun part of the legend. Decades later, stories started circulating about the ghost of Ambrose Small haunting the Grand Theatre in London, Ontario, one of the theaters he used to own. His portrait still hangs there, apparently keeping an eye on things.
So he not only vanished with his millions, but maybe stuck around in spectral form. That's quite an ending. Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot here. Fake disappearances, tragic accidents, likely murders still unsolved, maybe even ghosts. It's been quite a journey through these baffling cases. It really has. And if you pull back and look at all these stories together, what really stands out is how wealth just changes the game entirely.
How so?
Well, it can be the reason someone disappears, either their own choice to escape something or because someone else wants the money. It provides the means to disappear, perhaps more effectively. Or sometimes it just adds this thick layer of suspicion and complexity onto what might otherwise be a more straightforward, though still tragic, human story.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The real aha moment, I think, is realizing that no amount of money, millions, billions, can actually shield you from basic human vulnerabilities, from danger, from mental health struggles, or from just the fundamental mystery of why people sometimes vanish.
So when you look at all these stories, these missing millionaires, what's the big takeaway for you? What sticks with you?
It really raises a question, doesn't it? In a world that's so often obsessed with getting rich, with holding on to wealth, maybe these stories are a strange sort of warning. Maybe sometimes disappearing, whether by choice, by accident, or by foul play, is the ultimate unintended price of having it all. Makes you think.